Back to our interactive story. If convicted, police officer Ken Cannon faces possible prison time and the end of his career. Was he justified in killing his neighbor's dog 11 days after the animal attacked his daughter? Here's what you've just decided live online. Would jurors see it the same way? Once again, Hoda Copy.
It was a tense time. Nobody said anything in the beginning that I recall. We just sat there for a minute looking at each other.
The jurors started their deliberations. Before them, the task of deciding whether or not Officer Cannon was justified in shooting his neighbor's dog. We sat down with 3 of the 6 jurors.
Any dog lovers in the group?
I am.
The jurors listened to the evidence. They were particularly disturbed because the officer shot the dog while he was chained up with nowhere to go.
I thought it was cruel. I mean, I would never think about shooting a dog.
I was frustrated that the dog was there and chained up and somewhat innocent. I mean, he didn't have any choices in the matter. Then there was no warning except that the dog was shot.
But they also believed Officer Cannon was acting on instinct as a father.
You know, if it was my daughter and she was wanting me to do something about what happened to her, then I can understand his frame of mind. Then to hear that she had been tossed around like a rag doll really got me.
But weren't there other options? What about walking up to Linda Carpenter's door, ringing the doorbell and saying, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that sort of the more rational thing to do?
It would be, but it seemed he was so angry and their communication was so broke down, him and Miss Carpenter, at that point.
Ken Cannon's attorney did something that some would say is clever. He took this trial and flipped it. Here's the guy who's on trial, who admits he shot a dog, and Ken Cannon's attorney says, you know who the bad guys are? Linda Carpenter and Animal Control. How effective was his approach?
Very effective. Very, very effective. He kept the jurors educated on the case, more so I felt than the prosecution did.
And the jurors did not buy Linda Carpenter's story.
I told her that I would have the dog euthanized after the quarantine was over.
Did you believe Linda Carpenter when she said, I was going to put that dog to sleep?
No.
No?
No.
No. 3 no's.
I could see that she was a dog lover, and, you know, if it was my dog, I mean, I wouldn't want to put it to sleep either. And I think she was thinking about that first, more so than the safety of the kids.
And they all agree putting the dog back in the yard again was a serious mistake.
I mean, what was going on her head? To bring back that dog? I mean, it's just common sense.
My heart went out to her because I kind of felt sorry that she was alone, you know, without her dog. But at the same time, it was like, you really could have prevented this.
But with all their considerations, the jury said it all came down to that central question raised by the defense.
All I could hear in my mind was he justified? Was he justified? Was it a dangerous dog?
All right, you may publish the verdict.
After more than 3 hours, they reached a verdict.
We, the jury, find a defendant as to count 1, not guilty, as to count 2, not guilty.
The trial would have been over then and there, but the jurors were about to do something extremely rare. They asked the judge if they could speak, and when they did, out of the camera's view, they wagged their finger at Animal Control, and especially at Linda Carpenter, suggesting she should be punished for what they say was her role in the shooting.
The owner of the dog never really received any reprimand, citation.
That was sweet. Very sweet vindication.
Because that told you they understood your case, they believed everything you said, they believed in Ken Cannon.
Absolutely.
It was a big sigh of relief for the Cannon family. But on her way out of the courtroom, Linda Carpenter could not believe she was the one being condemned when someone else was on trial.
What did I do? I have not done anything. Why should I be prosecuted? Ken took the law into his own hands. He was judge, jury, and executioner of my dog.
81 right here, 29, check.
But back on the police force days after the trial, Officer Cannon says he was prepared to lose everything in order to defend what he believed in.
I believe that we have to protect our families, even if it means answering for something that may be in question. And I will, to the day I die, with my family. And I would hope anyone would do the same for their children.
Officer Cannon says he plans to take legal action against the county and the city. He says they failed to protect him and his family.